One of my students in my academy recently asked me for some Reese bases, so I sent them a bunch. And then I thought to myself, why not show you my favorite Reese bases? So that's what we're going to do in today's video. Now the first Reese bass we're going to look at is a really aggressive one you might hear drum and bass artists like Boo use in his drops and his pre-drops to make the drop hit as hard as possible. So let's take a look. We're going to try and keep this as simple as possible. So we're going to leave this on default shapes and on a sawtooth. And we're going to put this down -1 octave. And then we're going to put it up 4 unison and change this to 0.35. Next, we're going to turn the filter on and we're going to turn the cutoff up slightly to about 740. Now what we want to do is turn the level up max and then come to the effects and come here and add distortion. And we're going to pick diode 1. We're just going to boost the drive all the way up to 100%. And we've almost got the sound there. We just need to add a compressor on multiband. Turn the gain up. And again, that's sounding really good, but we can boost this even more with the multiband on here by turning these up. So we can turn the lows up to like 170. And we already start to get that bass through now. Sounds really cool. And we can just adjust these as well to taste. And then we can adjust the highs and the lows. And that's starting to sound really juicy now. So just play around with those values, see what works for your track. And then of course we can play with the octaves as well. So we could go like, we could go -2. And then we can play with the voicing down here as well. And so we can put it on mono, legato, and always. Turn this up and it will glide between the notes. And then you can try and create a little melody. So for example, or have it an octave down like this as well. And you see we can start to get some crazy sounds here. Now the next Reese bass we're going to look at sort of does the opposite of this. So it's more of a smooth Reese bass. Really great for dramatic intros and for genres like liquid drum and bass. So again, initialize the preset. And then this time we're going to choose an analog sound. So we're going to go to analog mini, -2 octaves. We're going to turn this unison up to 5 and then the detune down to 0.12. And then we come to this little settings button here and we can change the width here to make it more mono. So all the way to 0 goes to mono, but we don't want that. We're on around 70-ish, 73. So get this nice crisp sound. But now we want to add a filter to get rid of some of that high range. So we have a nice smooth Reese bass. So let's change this to MG low 18. Turn the cutoff right down to 205 Hertz. We'll turn the res up a little bit, 15, drive up a little bit to like 17. And then we need to bring some of the sound out more with some effects. So let's add a distortion, soft clip, turn it up to about 63%. Let's add a compressor just to boost some of the gain slightly. And then we can also add another equalizer and then we can boost the lows some more if you want. So do this to taste. Let's just turn the main volume down a little bit because it's redlining a little bit. And then again, we can come down to the voicing tab here, select mono, legato, always, and then 140-ish. So we can have it moving nicely between the notes. And there you have a really cool Reese bass for your intros and for your drops if you're doing a more chill drop like a liquid drum and bass drop, for example. Now earlier I mentioned I sent these Reese basses to someone in my academy, and in the academy when students ask for a certain sound to be recreated, I often look into it with them, and often we were able to replicate the sounds that they're after. So if that's something you're interested in, then check out the academy down below. There's loads more inside as well. All the info is on that page. Now the last Reese bass we're going to look at is more Noisia type heavy dubstep style bass that sounds sick in the more heavy style music. And let me show you a little clip from a track that I've been working on that I'm going to do a breakdown on very soon. Now let's look into this one. So first what we're going to do is initialize the preset, put this down -2 octaves, then turn on this filter here, go to multi, and then go to LB12. We're then going to change this cutoff to 150 and this frequency to 29. And then we're going to put this res up just to 13%. And then we're going to automate the filter with one of the macros. So we can drag this macro to the cutoff, drag this macro to the frequency, and we're going to set the cutoff to 68% here. And then we're going to set the frequency to 36%. Now we can change this macro down here to get different sounds. I'm going to set this to 70, but if you want to automate this, you can come here, come to Browse Parameters, and then go right click, Create Automation Clip. And this will allow you to like change it as the tune progresses. Now we need to add some effects to it to bring the sounds out more. So first we're going to add a hyper/dimension, change the rate up to about 52%, change the unison all the way up to 7, change the detune to about 54%. Then we should get this. Then we're going to pick a distortion and we're going to put the drive up to 60%. Then we're going to pick a compressor, select multiband, turn the gain right up to about 15, turn this below thing here up to 0.75. Change the high ups up a little bit and the lows up a little bit. Then we're going to come and add a filter and we're going to apply some of this macro to this filter as well. So change it to MGLO 12, change the cutoff to about 1200-ish, change the res up to about 15% and change the drive to 66%. Then we're going to drag the macro on the cutoff and the macro on the drive, change the cutoff to 46%, dragging it here, and change the drive to 81%. Now you can see it's redlining a bit here, so let's just turn it down so it's not. It's fine. And then to get the portamento change, we change the voicing to mono, legato, always, and we'll turn this up to around about 140-ish. Finally, let's add an EQ just to buff up some of the low end and the high end even more. So we'll grab a gain here and put this up to around about 6-ish. Get some of the low end in, and then we'll just boost some of the higher end as well, just so it pops a bit more. And of course, you can change this down now. And there you have the bulk of your sound. Now in this tune, we have got a bunch of effects on it. So we've got Valhalla Room, but I don't think that's doing anything. We've got a Saturn 2 on the 456 demo mode. You can see here. We've got a Decimort 2 on the 909 cymbal preset down here. And then we've just got Kickstart 2 doing the sidechain. And then this is also linked to a reverb channel here, which has got a Valhalla Room on and an EQ cutting out the lows. You can see that's attached down here. You can change the amount you want on it here. And then both of these are going to the bass bus. Get that very nice sound. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out this video on the screen right now, where I actually use one of these Reese basses in a track on the drop.